Okay, so Zach has been asking me to like record more throughout the day with all my free time, So I thought I could try to hop on here real quick and do a little video. It's Thursday, so Charlie is with Zach's grandparents. They get her every Thursday and just play with her for the day and kind of give me a little bit of a break. She's all over the place now. She's army crawling everywhere, so she needs eyes on her constantly, and I can't really take my eye off her when she's with the little ones because she grabs their binkies out of their mouth, scratches their face, and it's a whole thing. So I got a lot of questions asking why. So I'm in my bedroom right now with the door closed, hoping the babies are taking a nap, so I'm hoping that I can get this done. But I got a lot of questions asking why we use the ready to feed formula rather than the powder. So I thought I would talk a little bit about that real quick. I'm going to start with Charlie. So Charlie was born July 27th of 23. And in the hospital, they give you those little 2-ounce bottles to eat. So she was on the regular Similac 360 Total Care. She ate that in the hospital. See, I have a lot that I could say. I'll try to get it all in. So anyway, she was getting that in the hospital, doing so good. She came home taking almost 2 ounces at I think we were in there for almost 3 days. So she was doing so good with that. They sent us home with a few more of those bottles and nipples. So for the first few days, she did so good, no problems at all. Everything was okay. So then we ran out, obviously, of that ready feed, those little 2-ounce bottles that they give you. So I had the powder at home. So I'm like, okay, let's do the powder and the bottles that I bought at home. Well, who knew as a first-time mom, and I had no idea, that there was different nipple sizes, that different bottles mattered for different babies. Audie, stop licking the bed. Come here. You want to be in the video too? Okay. I had no idea. So the bottles that I was using, let me rewind. Those little 2-ounce bottles, she would drink in 10 minutes, if that. And once we ran out of the ready feed and I did the powder, and I used the bottles that we had at home, she was taking forever and getting so mad because she couldn't get the milk out of the bottles, out of the nipple. So thankfully in my neighborhood, there's lots of other moms with little kids. So they gave me different bottles and different nipples to try, and thank God I found that the Dr. Brown's bottles and the size 2 nipple are very, very similar to those Similac nipples that they give you in the hospital that fit those little 2-ounce bottles that they give you also. So once I figured that out, it was great. She was doing so much better. So then a couple weeks in, I noticed she was like really grunting and really forcefully like trying to go to the bathroom or pass gas. I don't know what it was, but she would scream and cry in pain, and she would get so tense and beet red, but then she'd poop and her poop would be normal. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? So we would do the little bicycle exercises and like move her hips around and, one in one leg to try to help get the gas out. It wasn't helping. Then I tried the Milacon drops, and I think I went through 2 bottles of those, and I didn't, at first I'm like, oh yes, this is helping. It wasn't helping. So I switched, even though it was expensive. I tried try to think what I did first. I switched her to the sensitive formula right away. Still didn't really notice the difference. So then what did I do? Switched her to the sensitive, and then, I switched her to the sensitive powder and tried that. Still didn't notice anything. So then I switched her to the sensitive ready to feed. This was all over probably like a 3-month period. Switched her to the sensitive ready to feed, and she started to do a lot better. However, in the meantime, I had called our pediatrician probably like 4 times because I was hell-bent that absolutely something was wrong with her. Something's wrong with her guts. She can't poop. She can't pass gas. We, switched the formula, did all this stuff. And my pediatrician told me every single time that babies are born with this reflex, and I should have looked it up to know what the name was, but I forget. But babies are born with this reflex that once the stool passes through their system and it gets down to their rectum, it just opens and the poop comes out. That's just what happens. And then when they get about a month old, that reflex goes away. So the babies have to learn what muscles to use to push. So that's why sometimes like they grunt and grunt and grunt and grunt and try to pass gas, try to poop, nothing happens. Sometimes they throw up because they're trying to push so hard. And a lot of parents that I have talked to too, I'm not really sure if there's one person that I know of actually that has whatever formula they started on in the hospital, that's what they continue to use, because I feel like that first month you obviously think something's wrong with your kid because they're like their guts are in pain. So come to find out that that's actually a normal thing, and it's just that reflex that they're trying to learn. But then we had the babies, the triplets, and they were in the NICU, and they were getting breast milk. I did try my breast milk. I pumped for a month, and I didn't even get enough for one baby, let alone 3 babies. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to use mine, but they were getting donor milk. I hear knocks right now. They were getting donor milk in the NICU, thankfully. And then when we came home, they were also getting donor milk. Thankfully, we had someone donate us a nice amount. I think it lasted us about a month of the breast milk that we were fortifying with the Similac NeoSure powder, because we had to fortify it with powder. And then once we ran out of the breast milk, we switched them right to the NeoSure ready to feed. And we were actually advised that by the NICU nurses. They said they don't even suggest the powder to babies, or they don't recommend the powder to babies to any baby under 3 months old. And when she told me that, I was like, oh my gosh, why no one ever told me that before? Like, I had no idea. I actually didn't even know there was such thing as a ready to feed formula. Who knew? But she said they don't recommend it just because it's harder to digest for the babies. So if anyone out there has a new baby and they're like, what the heck is going on with my kid? Number one, I would try to switch it to the ready to feed if you're able to. Or number two, it's probably just that little reflex that they're trying to learn. So I think that's all. I think that was my little spiel for the day. I don't hear Knox anymore, so he must have fell back asleep. But if you guys have any questions on the formula situation thing, you can always send us a message, email, whatever. We're always welcome to your questions. Thanks.